Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This is an intraday video. Today is FOMC, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you're looking at a chart of the U.S. dollar as represented by ticker symbol UUP, which is the ticker for trading the power shares U.S. dollar. Basically, you can see that it's broken above the Kumo cloud here to the upside, and you can see the support trend line support here at the bottom, and it's now entering into the overbought side of things. The Fed has been very successful in defending the dollar at the expense of selling stocks and selling gold and silver paper contracts to keep this thing afloat. So the question today is the Fed going to continue with the zero interest rate policy, or are they going to begin raising rates? I mentioned in the last FOMC video that I did, the last real-time one I did, that I believe that a shock will come sometime next year, probably in March or somewhere between January and March, an intra-meeting rate hike without warning, without any indication, which will bring a shock to the markets. I think that's what they're going to do. I don't think anything is going to happen before the election. And pretty much for the rest of this year. Any shock to the system to test the waters will be in an in-between meeting situation like they did back in 2000. I think all signs are pointing in that direction. So let's move along. All right, looking at the gold market, you can see it's still waving around, testing this support trend line. And we're in the oversold category down here. So I would not be one to look to get short down here because so much movement has happened. And you're still in a bullish position overall. You're still trading above the Kumo cloud. Yeah, it could come down and test the bottom of the cloud, just like I showed you in the previous video. But right now the market is basically moving as expected. All right, you're not getting a broad continuation to the downside. You're basically just hanging around this trend line right here. Markets tend to overshoot and then come back into alignment. So I'm gonna look for that to happen as the week progresses in the gold market. Right now you got overhead resistance at 130.90 and at 124.45. All right, taking a look at silver. Silver, similar story, still hanging around the long-term trend line here at $16.60. Overhead resistance is at $17.68 and $19.64 respectively. And again, the market is showing signs of oversold. Looking now at GDX, same situation. Miners are moving with the price of the underlying metal, and again oversold. Overhead resistance right now in the GDX is at 25.23, 26.34, and 29.48. And again, the market's oversold. Looking at GDXJ, looking at the junior miners, same situation here, trading above the long-term trend line. Right now you got some overhead resistance at 43.01 and 42.08 and 48.83. And yes, the market is oversold. All right, looking at the JNUG. JNUG is right here, moving in the pattern and the trajectory that I told you that it would in the last video. Oversold, respecting the Kumo cloud, about to hit this ramp, catapult up above the 1548 resistance, and then it should take a break around the 1889 resistance, settles back, trade sideways for a little bit, and then hits the next ramp, which catapults it above the 2757 resistance. JDST has had a nice run from the bottom of the Kumo cloud, but it's still trading inside the Kumo cloud of death. We could peek its head out here, only to get knocked back down and drop back down below the 2645 support, which is what I am expecting will happen. It's going to take this support out. As the gold breaks out, the JDST breaks down because it's the inverse of the bull fund JNUG. Right now it has support at the long-term trend line, which is at 33.53, 34.51, and 29.76, and then the final support is at 26.45. Taking a look at AG, First Majestic. Alright, here on the longer term chart, you can see it's also moving in sympathy with the JNUG, so to speak, and it has a nice 3-count wave of ramps here. Here's the first, here's the second, here's the third, to push it back above 1479 and actually up till 20. This one should get up to 20 before consolidating for a couple of weeks. Alright, finishing up now with Pretty Ricky. Pretty Ricky is hanging in there after the retracement here. Currently, support is at $8.23 and $7.24 respectively. Your overhead resistance now is at $9.35. So this one, based on the ramp here and the fact that it hasn't hit the ramp, I think it's going to consolidate and push out even after breaking back above this 922 resistance. It hits this ramp over here, because this ramp has more of a higher incline. This one gets pushed over the $12 mark up to the $15 mark, but it looks like it may have a more elongated period of consolidation after initial breakout. So you can see it's already starting to ramp up just a little bit from this oversold condition. Looking at the stock that tracks the Bitcoin, ticker symbol GBTC, you can see it is gaining upside momentum as well, but getting into the overbought now, moving right along with the US dollar, and nothing has changed from that perspective. It's also good to note here, excuse me, $97.20 is the current price. The dollar futures is at $97.90. 97 handle. Coincidence? I'll let you decide that. But just know that the dollar excuse me, has been screaming, and it actually broke the 98 handle today, trying to get closer to that par again, which is having a lot of problems with staying above par. But this is where we are right now. So interesting. If you have shares in the GBTC, the ETF that tracks the Bitcoin, well, it's starting to gather strength. Overhead resistance right now is at 112.39. So the question is going to be, can it do it? It should be noted that this is a thinly traded instrument, just like Bitcoin is. You don't have, hundreds of millions of people trading that on a daily basis. So you probably want to use caution and use your order types to your advantage and trade accordingly in this particular one if you're going to take that plunge. Alright, so that's it for today's intraday video. Remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can, give nothing back, And come on over and check out the new Black Ops site over at www.pulsewavetrading.com. That's www.pulsewavetrading.com. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This is an intraday video. Today is FOMC, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you're looking at a chart of the U.S. dollar as represented by ticker symbol UU contracts to keep this thing afloat. So the question today is, the Fed going to continue with the zero interest rate policy, or are they going to begin raising rates? I mentioned in the last FOMC video that I did, the last real-time one I did, that I believe that a shock will come sometime next year, probably in March or somewhere between January and March, an intra-meeting rate hike without warning, without at the bottom, and it's now entering into the overbought side of things. The Fed has been very successful in defending the dollar at the expense of selling stocks and selling gold and silver, paper UP, which is the ticker for trading the power shares U.S. dollar. Basically, you can see that it's broken above the Kumo cloud here to the upside, and you can see the support trend line support here.